Dear students, today I am going to discuss about reproductive health. Starting with the definition given by the WHO, reproductive health means total well-being in all aspects of reproduction, that is physical, emotional, behavioral and social. A society with people having physically and functionally normal reproductive organs and normal emotional and behavioral interactions among them in all sex-related aspects might be called reproductively healthy. Coming to the family planning, India was the first nation in the world to initiate various action plans and programs at national level towards attaining reproductively healthy society. And these programs were called family planning programs. It was launched in the year 1951. Continuity with that, a program known as RCH, called as Reproductive and Child Health Care Program, came into existence and which is still working. And the main functions of this program is to create awareness among people about various reproduction related aspects. Not only this, it also provides facilities and support for building up a reproductively healthy society. With the help of audio, visual, and print media, governmental and non governmental agencies have taken various steps to create awareness among the people about reproduction related aspects. What are the strategies of these programs? Number first, that is the introduction of sex education in schools, which I'll be discussing in my next slide. Educating people about problems due to uncontrolled population growth and social evils. Educating people, especially fertile couples and those in marriageable age groups, about birth control, care of pregnant women, postnatal care of mother and child, importance of breastfeeding, equal opportunities for the female and male child, and finally the genetic counseling. Genetic counseling. Under genetic counseling, a technique known as amniocentesis came into existence. This technique was developed or discovered to study chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus and thus to counsel the couple. But later on, it was seen that this technique was being misused and resulted in female feticide. And at present, this technique is completely banned. Sex education in school, which is a burning issue, in fact. As we all know that in our society, we all do not speak openly about on these topics. So when it is being introduced in the school, what is its utility? It helps in eradicating myths and misconceptions regarding sex related aspects. It provides proper information about reproductive organs, safe, hygienic practices, and sexually transmitted diseases. It also provide awareness of problems due to uncontrolled population growth, social evils like sex abuse and sex related crimes. It also educates people about the available birth control options, care of pregnant mothers, postnatal care of mother and child, importance of breastfeeding, equal opportunities for the male and female child, which I have already discussed with you in my previous slide. Now, population. What is population? Before I come to population explosion, we should know the definition of the population. It means the total number of individuals present in a particular area at a given time. And scientific study of human population is called demography. The World Population Day is observed on 11th July. See, you all know there is a tremendous increase in the population day by day, especially in India. And this tremendous increase of the population is known as population explosion. And India has crossed 1.35 billion in 2018. There are various factors that affect the population growth. Number one, decline in mortality rate. Second, decline in MMR. This is called maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate. These two, they are the result of advancement in medical facilities as well as immunization programs. The third one, increase in the number of people in reproductive age, increase in the food production by means of modern agriculture practices, and people do not starve. And the finally is the increase in the lifespan. Again, the lifespan of the people due to the advanced medical facilities and immunization programs, it has gone up. Now, how can we have a control over the population explosion? The first method here you can see the very important biological method we can normally suggest here, that is the birth control. And these birth control methods normally, which are commonly known as the contraceptive methods. In contraceptive methods, we normally say there are different type of methods here. Number first, the natural method. Second, the barrier method, the chemical method, and the surgical method. In natural method, without the use of any device, the the pregnancies can be controlled. They are such as periodic abstinence. Periodic abstinence is one of the such method in which the couples avoid or abstain from coitus from the day 10 to 17 of the menstrual cycle when ovulation could be expected. The second is the coitus interruption. This is the method in which the ejaculation is prevented during the coitus. And the third one is the lactational amenorrhea. This is the period, this is, you can say, the contraceptive method, which is mainly based on the fact that ovulation and therefore the cycle do not occur during the period of intense lactation following parturition. It means during breastfeeding, the period after parturition up to 6 months normally the ovulation do not occurs and pregnancy can be prevented. Barrier methods. Here the devices are being used, and these devices could be used by the both male as well as the female. Condoms, diaphragms, cervical caps, vaults, IUDs. Here I have also mentioned the oral pills. These are the medicine, normally we can keep them in the chemical methods also. Oral pills. Here the medicines which would normally prevent the pregnancies. I'll discuss with you a bit later. Come to the chemical methods. In chemical methods, foams, creams, jellies, they could be used by the partners to prevent the pregnancy. Mostly the spermicidal creams are being used. The surgical method, which is the method of sterilization, and it is of two types, you can say. In males it is known as vasectomy, and in the females known as the tubectomy. Here now I've made a slide just to explain you about the intrauterine devices. IUDs. What are these? These are the devices which are being used in the uterus of the female to prevent the pregnancy. They could be classified into two types. Number one, non-medicated, and this second one, the hormone releasing IUDs. Both these IUDs, whether it's non-medicated or hormone releasing, they increases phagocytosis of the sperms. Phagocytosis means they kill the or digest the sperms, and the copper ions which suppresses sperm motility. In non-medicated, the examples are lipase loop, copper releasing IDs such as copper T, copper 7, multiload 375. In hormone releasing IDs, the example are progestasert, LNG 20. Remember what is the main function of the hormone releasing IUDs? It makes uterus unsuitable for implantation and cervix hostile to sperms. Now, the oral pills. These are the medicines which are being taken by the females. What are they? They are the preparations. They're hormonal based also, you can say. Number first, as it is being mentioned here, progestogen, estrogen combinations. And second, they could be only progestogen only. They inhibit ovulation, implantation, and alteration of the cervical mucus to prevent or retard entry of the sperms. The second one is the Sahili, which is being developed by CDRI. It is a non-steroidal contraceptive and which is taken once in a week with very few side effects. Surgical methods. I've already explained it to you earlier in my previous slide here. So you can see the two methods. The one is the vasectomy, where you can see the vas difference. They have been cut or they have been tied, and the other one in the females, the fallopian tubes they have cut or they have been tied. In this way, the pregnancy can be, or you can say fertilization can be prevented. Medical termination of the pregnancy. This means that to abort, you can say, to abolish the unwanted pregnancies during the first 3 months of the pregnancy, first three trimester we also we say. It is being now legalized in our country. And now what is being done in this one? In this, what type of pregnancies can be removed, can be abolished? The rape victims, the unwanted pregnancies, the teenage pregnancies, the the pregnancies with genetic defects, abnormality in the fetus, they can be aborted. Then sexually transmitted disease. Please see, one very important thing to study this reproductive health lesson is to make the people, especially the young generation, aware of the sexually transmitted diseases. There are lot many diseases over here, such as you can see, they are also known here STDs, or you can say the VD is also being mentioned here. Then RTI, reproductive tract infections. In fact, the gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B, and AIDS. This AIDS, the other disease, they could be cured, but AIDS do not have any cure. No vaccine, nothing at all. It affects our immune system and thus destroys our body. Infertility. Infertility, see, by means of the reproductive health, we can make even the people aware, the unfertile, or you can say infertile couples, to have the pleasure of parenthood by means of certain programs such as assisted reproductive technologies. Now, what is the cause of infertility? There could be various reasons behind that. The defects may be in both the partners or any one of the partner. Suppose if I just see the defects in the male partner, what could be there? The sperm count in the semen may be very less. The motility of the sperms, the poor motility of the sperms could also be there, or you can say the unhealthy sperms. But in case of the females, the fallopian tubes where the fertilization takes place may be blocked. The uterus may be very small, which may to accommodate the fetus, and so on. So they are being advised to practice the other practices to gain the parenthood. And these are called the assisted reproductive technologies. Under assisted reproductive technologies, these are IVF, ZIFT, ZIFT, GIFT, GIFT, ICSI, AI, IUI. IVF means the in vitro fertilization. In vitro means the fertilization which is taking place outside the body in the laboratory. Here the male gamete, that is sperm, and the ovum, they are being taken out from the body of the couple's partners, and they are allowed to fuse in a test tube. And once it once a zygote is being formed, this zygote is allowed to develop up to 8 blastomere stage, and then it is being implanted, is transferred in the body. Like in the fallopian, when it is being transferred in the fallopian tube, we call it a GIFT, ZIFT. Now sometimes the gametes are also being transferred. Suppose the female partner is not able to produce the eggs, then in that case the gamete from the donor is being introduced in her body, that is the fallopian tube where the fertilization can take place. ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. This is a technique in which the sperms are directly injected in the egg. Again, it is done outside the body in the laboratory conditions. AI, artificial insemination, is a very common method, especially being practiced even in the cattles. Here, the semen is introduced in the body into the genital tract. IUI, intrauterine insemination. This is the technique now in which you can say same the artificial insemination. Here, the semen is being introduced in the vagina or the uterus of the female. So these are the all techniques. At last, I just want to tell you before I end up with this presentation that the fertility can be even regained. You can say the problem of infertility is there, but my personal advice to the couples is that instead of going or through all these assisted reproductive technologies, they can enjoy the parenthood just by practicing adoption. India is a vast country, lot many children, they're starving, and at least they will get a good family and a good care. Thank you very much.